So the lore of Rainbow Six Siege at this current point in time is getting more love and attention by Ubisoft than it ever has in the past. We have a brand new antagonist in the game with Deimos. That's the first time we've had a proper antagonist in Rainbow Six Siege since the White Mask back when the game first came out. You're getting new operators added to the game which are directly linked to this new antagonist and the lore in general, such as Fenrir and Azami. And of course, maps are becoming way more lore heavy as well, with the most recent brand new addition to the map pool, Nighthaven Labs, which is honestly one of my favourite maps in the game. Not just because it holds a lot of lore, I just really like to play it in ranked. So as the story and lore of Rainbow Six Siege becomes more and more prevalent, there's no better time than now to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'm your one-stop home for Rainbow Six Siege lore. So the map Nighthaven Labs sort of introduced some new ways to tell lore in the game. One of these major ones was in the meeting room. You can actually hear an audio replayer of Kaze, the leader of Nighthaven, giving some evaluation notes on all of the Nighthaven operators, the ones that were part of Nighthaven when they joined Rainbow, as well as the Rainbow operatives that left Team Rainbow to join Nighthaven as well. This gave us a deeper understanding and explanation as to why these operatives left Team Rainbow, and it allowed these maps to give more other than just being a place for gameplay. They have story behind them, and this map was conveying the story to us and helping us get a deeper understanding of the lore itself. Now, at the time of upload, Operation Dread Factor is roughly just a week away, and that is of course going to be bringing us a rework to the map Consulate. Now, the Consulate rework itself isn't going to have that much lore into it since it isn't a brand new map, it's a rework of an older map. However, not only is there a map in the foreseeable future which is going to be a lore-based map, and I think I have a theory as to how this is going to happen. I'll let you hear what Alexander had to say during the reveal. By the way, I was in the crowd here, we weren't booing. Since it was a Portuguese map, people were doing Cristiano Ronaldo's signature "Sui," which unfortunately sounded a bit like the crowd was booing. But here's what Alexander had to say about the Portuguese map coming in Year 8 Season 4.
To visit Portugal in Season 4 for the new map, we'll be looking at a map that's actually tied to the story of the game, and the team is working really hard on working on something that you haven't seen before in the maps you've played in Siege.
Now, the way you worded it, when they say something new, it could be the layout of the map, but I think when they say something new, I feel like it's going to have new integrations to the map for the player to explore, similar to how maps are interactable and tell a story in games such as Call of Duty Zombies. As well as he did mention that it is going to be tied to the story of the game, I feel like they are doubling down on the lore, and I feel like this map is going to give us as the player new ways to explore it. So that will allow us to jump into a custom game, explore the map, and maybe try out a bunch of new things on the map to see what story it could tell us. This should be a great way for them to further the lore and allow these maps to intertwine even more into the story itself. This is something I feel like was a really massive missed opportunity when it comes to Rainbow Six Extraction. That game is basically dead at this point, and they've announced that they aren't doing any further content updates to it. But Rainbow Six Extraction was like a PvE game which had a story, but the maps didn't really explore that story, rather a few random cutscenes in between them would. And then on the map itself, you would play a repetitive objective which can be played on any of the other maps. I was a fan of Extraction's gameplay, but it was just full of missed opportunities, and one of them was definitely the interaction between player and map. They had so much room to tell a story in these maps, and I think Call of Duty Zombies is a perfect way of having maps have story, as well as still having a multiplayer gameplay aspect to them. Now, when I say interactive maps, I don't mean like you're going to start it up in a ranked match and the map is going to be, you know, all over the place, stuff's going to be changing, there's going to be people talking. It won't be distracting in a ranked match, but rather this will be more a thing where you can hop into a custom game and you can go around finding a bunch of secrets and then do like a sequence of events, and it will tell a story throughout the map. And it'll be something you have to go out of your way to do, and it won't affect the gameplay of the map itself. As well as this, since it is going to be a lore-based map, I also have the theory that this is maybe going to be like a base of Deimos. I mean, we've already got a Rainbow base, which is like Hereford base. We've got Stadium as well. We've got a Nighthaven related one with Nighthaven Labs, although it isn't their base. Their base is over in the distance, and it is right beside their base. So that still does count as Nighthaven's base itself. Now we have another lore map coming in Season 4, which is set in Portugal. This could be another base for Team Rainbow, or this time more specifically one of the squads, so like a redhammer base, a ghosteyes base, a wolfguard base, or a viperstrike base. Or this could be a base or a facility which is owned by Deimos. I definitely think this is probably going to be a Deimos related map. He was introduced at the beginning of Year 8. It would make sense to then close off Year 8 with a map related to Deimos, and the story implications could be massive because this could be Rainbow tackling Deimos and maybe finally getting the upper hand. We know that Fenrir does know Deimos, we learned that in the cinematic, so I don't think Deimos will be defeated by the end of the year. I kind of hope he doesn't. I hope he remains a character in the lore for a good while, because I don't really know what they'll do after Deimos is defeated. They'll just replace him with another enemy. So I hope Deimos doesn't get killed or defeated by the end of the year, but I hope Rainbow at least takes a win on him. They maybe knock him down a peg, they get a few shots in, but he doesn't die. And we're bound to get a Deimos map at one point anyway, so it might as well be this one. But we can take a look at what Alexander said and look at it in another perspective. Maybe he wasn't talking about being like an interactive map and that bit relating to the lore. Maybe it was the layout of the map, and what the map itself is going to be something quite interesting and new to the game. But I honestly can't think of how they can make a map which we haven't really seen before, because it seems like at this point in time, maps, although still being unique, can't be as wacky as they were when the game first launched. Maps such as Yacht and Plane, you'll never see that again in Rainbow Six Siege. They experimented as well with maps like Tower, where it was very heavy vertical play. People don't really like that either. The only thing I can imagine if they're bringing something new to the maps design-wise is maybe like a map that's just in the sky, maybe it's on like a massive cargo plane, but then again, how big can you realistically make a cargo plane to fit a whole map into it? Because I mean, look at Plane itself. Yes, that isn't as big as a cargo plane, but it's still relatively small. And the layout isn't the best in Plane because it's a plane. Listen, I think Plane's a cool map. I think it's unique and I like it existing in the game. I think it's cool. But unless you start reinventing how a jet layout works, it's always going to play out like a plane. One that could be quite cool is a map that's set on the water and it's on like a massive ship. Rather than Deimos' base of operations being a facility on land, it could be the ship which he goes around in, and he maybe stays off the radar and this is how he remains hidden. That itself could be an absolutely insane map. You can realistically make a massive ship. Yes, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to have a lot of soft walls on like the exterior of a ship, but we could extend that for the imagination of this game. And imagine like Wetworks from Call of Duty, I think that was the name of the map, the one where it's on a boat, but you got a lot of interior gameplay with that. And they would have the ability to make this a massive boat, so it would be viable, it would be a relatively big size map. But then again, you have to think, didn't they not try that with Yacht? Once again, Yacht is smaller than a massive boat. It's just really hard to imagine these new maps other than just being a building with a unique design. Because when you start trying to think outside of that box, you think of a plane, they already done that, it's not ranked viable. You think of a boat, they kind of already done that, it's not ranked viable. You think of a tower, they already done that, it's not ranked viable. But I do have faith that the map team is cooking something up great for the Portuguese map. I do hope there is more lore in it. It is a lore related map, so we are 100% going to get lore in it, but I hope that they delve into it, like what I said, with like an interactive map, and we can learn so much about the lore from it. And especially if this is one of Deimos' base or like his headquarters, we could learn so much more about the character of Deimos, who is currently lacking a bit, but that is intentional. He is a mysterious character, so I think that could be a really cool way to learn more about his backstory via the map. I have played the concept rework. I think the map team have done a great job of that. I've liked a lot of the maps the map teams have put out. I love Nighthaven Labs. I really like Emerald Plains. I don't mind Stadium as much as other people do. I know that wasn't originally made for ranked, but I do think it is a pretty good map. I think we're at a point where the map team really know what they're doing, and I have a lot of faith that the Portuguese map is going to be great, and let's hope that the lore that we get with that map is going to be just as good as the map itself. So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think this Portuguese map is going to be like? Do you think it's going to be a more interactive map to coincide with the lore, or do you think it's just going to be an entirely new concept of the location of the map on par to stuff such as Plane, Yacht, and Tower? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, so be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, dislike it if you did not, subscribe if you're new, and I shall catch you later. I love you all. Stay safe, have a wonderful rest of your day, peace.